Good afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. Thank you so much for joining us. And sadly, since we've been off air, South Africa and the world were shaken by the tragic news of Mam Winnie Mandela's passing. Born Nomzamo Winifred Zanyiwe Madikizela, she was known as the mother of our nation and passed away peacefully on Monday in hospital at the age of 81.
Indeed. And today on Afternoon Express, we're going to be paying a tribute to the incredible life that she lived and the impact that she had on the world at large. So we managed to catch up with some of the famous South African women who were personally inspired by her, and we'll be sharing their messages throughout the show today, so stay tuned.
Absolutely. So add your voice to the conversation as well and head over to our social media accounts where we're asking, what is your fondest memory of the iconic anti-apartheid activist? Tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express or comment on our Facebook page.
Indeed. Remember, those comments are all your own, so be able to share those beautiful stories. Let's celebrate an incredible life that left an amazing impact on the world. Now, recently renowned British filmmaker, and I hopefully get his pronunciation of his name right, Pascal Lumshay, directed a biographical documentary of the life of Winnie Mandela Mandela, which earned her a directing award at the 2017 Sundance Film Festival. It's simply titled Winnie, and just have a look at the trailer to that film because it gives a powerful insight into the significance of this iconic figure.
We were the cannon fodder, we were the foot soldiers, and we were exposed to the viciousness of apartheid.
There's thinking people and there's people who are determined to survive and there's fighters. She's an activist. She's not the type of person who can be voiceless.
Apartheid is a criminal act. They're white men, 3.5 million. We are 30 million.
When people on the ground know who their leaders are, there's nothing that you can do successfully to alter that relationship. I just think it was too much power to have as a couple, and they had to get rid of this.
Today on Afternoon Express, in honor of the formidable life of Mam Winnie Mandela Mandela, we're joined by another prolific South African figure, storyteller, poet, and iconic author of such books as My Children's Children, Mother to Mother, and Beauty's Gift, Dr Cindy Goliath. Welcome to the Loft, Ma.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you. So, last week, you were invited as a guest speaker at the screening of this very documentary whose short clip we just saw. And in light of recent events and the passing of Mam Winnie, how did you receive the news?
I was quite shocked, really. It was unexpected. I had heard a little bit about she went into hospital, she was out of hospital, but I certainly wasn't expecting the end. And having listened to her talk, you know, at that screening, it was quite kind of like a bang. I've just heard the woman pour her soul out about who she was. And now that voice is forever stilled, except, of course, Winnie will never be stilled.
Yes.
But physically,
wow.
in the life as we know it, this life has come to an end. But Winnie Mandela Mandela is going to live on for as long as there is a country called South Africa. And people who want to know anything about the history of this country, the liberation struggle, the suffering of women, particularly black women. There is no way one could write a history of South Africa, a history of the liberation movement, and Winnie doesn't feature there prominently. Prominently.
Yeah.
You cannot erase her out of history.
What were some of the subsequent discussions that happened after the documentary in terms of just themes around women's contributions, women being made invisible, just women being singled out as the greatest villains?
You know, I left the screening and the discussions that followed heavy-hearted, because you know, when you know something and yet at another level you don't really know. I've always said women are oppressed. I've written about it. But to understand what it translates to in a single life, such as that of Winnie's, is a leap into the future, even for me. Fortunately, the younger generation is more vocal. You see, people my generation and older, we may think we have progressed, but we have also only progressed as far as we could. You know, you cannot run away from the general milieu. You will always be part of what brought you up, the ground from which you sprang. Even when you think you are running away, you are uprooting yourself, you are bettering yourself, you are still rooted in that soil. And Winnie, perhaps more than others, struggled harder to transcend the limitations of being a black woman. And so she got hit on the head. You know, one of the things that came out of watching that, of being part of that screening, was that with all the horrors even I know and have read and have heard of what has happened in this country, not only from the oppression by white people, but horrors we have done as black people inside the country, as well as those who were in exile, what happened in the camps. Winnie is the only person in the ANC who has been singled out and hauled before the TRC. I mean, I had known she had appeared before the TRC, but the magnanimity of that had not really struck me, but that nobody else had. I mean, now I am asking myself, everybody else was an angel? Everybody else was an angel? And Winnie did say horrible things happened. You know, mistakes were made. But if that was the only mistake in the liberation movement, all of it, not just ANC, PAC, and whoever else was involved, if that was the only horrible mistake that happened, God, wouldn't we all be saintly?
Yeah.
There were people who were necklaced, and afterwards it came out that was a wrong execution. It should not have happened.
Were falsely
inside
accused,
the country,
yeah.
outside the country.
Yeah, yeah. What can we as women now, watching Winnie's life, learn from her life? What stands out for you as some of the characteristics that make her such a force, a formidable force, and people are, even in conversation now, in the wake of her death, are so emotional, so enraged. People are saying, well, she was the ultimate villain, the ultimate hero. What can we take away from that is a positive way forward?
That the only way you will escape criticism is if you sit down, fold your arms, and do nothing. Winnie didn't. She was right there in the front of the struggle. Not alone, but she was one of the, leaders in the struggle. And at times, she was the go-to person for those in exile and as well as those who were inside. I mean, I don't think anybody can take away from the tremendous contribution that woman has made for the liberation of the people. And at heart, she was always a social worker, her profession.
Yeah.
Even during the most difficult times in her life, she still found ways of reaching out beyond her limitations and helping those around her, who were not relatives, who were not family, but because she understood their suffering.
Yeah, yeah. And yourself, as a prolific author, a doctor, a woman who's lived through all that time, fighting your own personal fight and triumphing, what would you say are the parallels that you could draw between yours and Winnie's life?
Well, if there are parallels, I hit my head. I'm working in a much narrower way, hoping to reach others through the writing, the storytelling. Winnie was in the front line, in part of the army, you know. I never joined a political party. I haven't even now, because then it was illegal, and part of the thing that kept me back was the irritation I just felt of belonging to a group where you were not allowed to entertain independent thought. That for me was like, I'm running away from apartheid to belong to a group where I cannot say I don't agree. And you see what happened to Winnie? Strong as she was, prominent as she was, when the cracks came, she was alone.
Wow.
She was alone. I think women must learn something. It's not for naught that in our languages you will find terms that denigrate women, but no opposite for the other gender. We are always wrong. Even before we do anything else, we were born wrong by being female. And women must learn that if you are strong, you will always, court criticism.
Yeah.
And I think women need to understand that our strength really depends on our understanding of this as a feature of society, and therefore supporting one another.
Yes.
Being there for one another. Look, I believe firmly that if we're ever going to come through the crisis we're in as a nation, the women of this country will have to do it, as well as the rest of the world, actually. Yeah. Look at how long we have given men the right to rule us. Our grandfathers and great-grandfathers, our fathers, our sons,
and
our husbands.
Our legacy.
Look at the mess we are in.
Yeah.
We need to groom women for leadership positions, support them. It's the only way out. Because as long as men are in authority, women will suffer.
Wow. Very wise and strong words there. Thank you so much for joining us today to honor the life of Mama Winnie Mandela.
An incredible life. An incredible life. Strong woman, outspoken.
Absolutely.
She couldn't be contained.
Well, we honor her. I think her name will ring throughout history.
There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
No doubt whatsoever.
Man, such powerful words, and I'm sure you're inspired to share your own thoughts as well. And perhaps you agree, perhaps there's certain parts that you want to engage on. We encourage you to do so. Head over to our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter. Use the hashtag Afternoon Express, and our Twitter handle is Afternoon Chat. We'd love to hear from you. It's so fascinating to hear all of these stories, because often in life with such prolific people like obviously Mum Winnie, you always seem to think about those one or two moments that become the highlight of their lives. But there's so much else that happened in between, and how easily it is for us as a nation to define somebody by a specific act or specific moment in their lives, when there's so much beyond that. And there is still so much to celebrate about her life. So obviously not only was she a powerful and anti-apartheid activist, but she was also a mother. And now when her then husband, Nelson Mandela, was sentenced to life in prison, she continued to raise two daughters, continuing the fight to liberate South Africa. And as we continue to pay tribute to the mother of the nation, we caught up with some famous South African women who were personally inspired by the life and work of Mum Winnie. Fashion editor and host of Trending SA, Kuli Roberts, had these words to say.
I found out yesterday that we had lost you, Mama Winnie. A wonderful, wonderful woman who has been there, who has given me wise words, who, when I asked, why don't you rest, Mama? You're old now, why don't you rest? She replied, I can hear them. There's too many people behind me who need me. Thank you very much, Mama, for your wise words. Thank you for being in our lives. Thank you for touching our lives. Thank you for ensuring that we are here. Thank you, Mama, for liberating us. Thank you so much, Mama, for giving us strength. Thank you, Mama, that we can stand here and be black and be proud. It's all because of you. Thank you so much, Mama, for everything. And thank you, Mama, for saying that I'm prettier than Uzinzi. Yes, you're always right. Lakahle, Mama.
Wow, it's truly an emotional day in the loft today and an emotional time for all South Africans. And remember to add your voice to the conversation. Today we're asking, what is your fondest memory of Winnie Mandela, the iconic anti-apartheid activist? Tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express, or comment on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for all your comments that are streaming in on Facebook right now. And Nairobi Sabata says, she was the daughter of the soil. I will not lose hope, and my people must never lose hope. Mama Nomzamo Winifred Madikizela Mandela, rest in peace, the lioness of Africa. And Prince Muekwa says, Mum Winnie Mandela was never a boardroom person. She always wanted herself in the front row of a war with high heels. She was never interested in power. She always fought for her fellow black brothers and sisters, even though she was denied access to her own country. Now that's what I call a true African shero. Thank you so much for all your comments, and tributes pour in, and we continue to celebrate the life of this wonderful woman. We're going to take a short break.
Warm welcome back to Afternoon Express on this Wednesday afternoon. We're live on SABC3. Head over to our social media platforms and engage with us, because today, while we celebrate the mother of the nation, we also want to know from you, do you perhaps have an extraordinary mother in your life? Then nominate her for the Clicks Mom of the Year 2018 competition, and she could win, listen to this, a brand new BMW 3 Series. Plus, you could win one of 10 pamper hampers for you both, including a day of pampering at a luxury hotel, return flights to Cape Town, and one night's accommodation at a Cape Town hotel. All you have to do is visit the Clicks Facebook page and reply to the competition post telling us why your mom deserves to win Mom of the Year 2018. Motivation shouldn't be more than 100 words. Competition closes on the 15th of April. Remember, T's and C's do apply, and you can visit clicks.co.za to find those.
Clicks. Feel good, pay less.
In 2016, Mama Winnie Mandela Mandela reached a milestone age of 80 years. The celebrations were hosted by the Artscape Theatre in Cape Town in the form of a tribute concert. And joining us now is Dr. Marlene Leroux, CEO of the Artscape Theatre, who was there to take it all in. Welcome to the loft.
It's
good to see you again.
Yes, and it's a sad moment, I think, for all of us.
Absolutely.
And today we also paid tribute to our iconic woman that was moved because of her humanity soul. She was a humane person that couldn't see people suffering and not doing anything. And the reason why we had the concert to celebrate her 80th birthday, and it was the brainchild of our wonderful daughters, and especially Ambassador in Denmark, Zinzi, and also her grandchildren, Linda Mandela, who came to see me. And it was about that the memory of Cape Town was harsh.
Yeah.
For her to travel to Cape Town to come and visit Tata Mandela, because she kept the flame alive of his memory. And that concert, when we conceived the concert, was to say, please forgive us what we have done to you. Because we have never said forgiveness. We've never said to her, thank you, what she has done. And especially as a young woman, as I'm sitting here, is to, and I look back, to think if I must be in her shoes, I would have never been able to live for 80 years. Because just the memory, for her to be taken away from her 2 young children to prison in the early morning hours and not knowing what is going to happen to my children, and to be subjected to the most horrific things that people can do to another human being for 18 months, then we need to say to Winnie Mandela,
we are sorry.
We are so sorry. And in a death, we are still trying to bring this woman down. And the time has come, as South Africans, to say, enough is enough. Because I'm sitting here as a young woman, and all that I can say, what a courageous, I don't even have words to describe my Winnie.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about her beauty. Yes, she was beautiful.
And gracious.
And gracious. But she had this inner strength that was beyond all of us. And it was a strength and it was a light. Because we live in a patriarchal system. And we still live in a patriarchal system in the new South Africa. When a woman's light shine too much and too bright, we want to bring that light down.
Yeah.
And if we want to continue with her legacy, we need to say to young women, let your light shine.
Absolutely. And that night with the concert, you were with her at the dinner and the concert. What did she think of the concert? How did she receive it? What did it mean to her? Did she share any of that with you?
I was just such a privilege, and I'm so privileged that I could be in just being next to her. And she said to me, I was sitting next to her at the dinner, and she said to me, Curly, who are all these people? Where's the veterans? The two of us had a moment laughing because she's my grandma. And I said to her, I will make sure at the concert the veterans will be there, as social workers like Ma, Professor Mtetwa from Guguletu. So with my one leg, I ran around early in the morning so that they can be there. But if I must share about the concert, the people just came. It didn't matter whether they had a seat, because it was also our journey from the Nikomelan and the journey to Artscape. And it was, Ma Winnie was instrumental to that. And the people had their own concert. They sang. There was 1,500 inside of the theatre. Wow. There was more than 1,500 outside. And people just wanted to pay tribute and to say thank you. And we can never ever, I said that night, I stood at the back in the middle of the piazza, and I said we would never be able to recreate this. And no one in South Africa would ever be able to recreate. Only Ma Winnie could create this particular atmosphere. And just to be her. And I can say I was just thankful that we could have that opportunity on that bastion of apartheid, which was called Nikomelan. And if you stand on the steps of Artscape, you can look to Robben Island. And Ma could look as a free woman over to... So the symbols of that evening was powerful.
Yeah.
It was beyond all of us. And it's not about us. It's...
No.
And I think the lesson that we all must take from here is that to be able to serve our people, you need to shed of yourself. And she has given everything in her life for us.
Absolutely. One doesn't have to be a political analyst to measure her impact, whether you acknowledge it or not, whether you see it or not. I remember just as a young girl growing up and understanding that something was amiss in this country. I mean, I'm giving away my age now, but I grew up as a young girl in the tail end of apartheid, and living in a township where your mom could send you to the shops and you might not come back because you've been tear gassed and you're lost for about 2 hours, or there's apartheid police breaking into your house at 2 a.m. in the morning to ransack your home. And then to watch television and see Winnie Mandela giving dignity to my humanity, to giving voice and painting for me what was going on in the country and that it was wrong, is something I will never, ever forget. In that moment when I would see her and she would take opportunity to speak to people or confront apartheid forces, I would sit there just coming alive and understanding that one day, perhaps, I could understand what freedom is and that I had a right to fight for that freedom.
For me, I was the 80s child being at the University of the Western Cape. I'm very proud to be 50 because I lived apartheid. I experienced apartheid in harshness as a rural girl.
Yeah.
And I'm experienced the little miracle of South Africa.
We're going to chat more a little bit later. We have to pay the bills. So we'll be right back with more of the tribute. Stay right where you are. After the break, we continue to celebrate the life of Winnie Mandela. And remember, if you'd like to share your message live, then give us a call on 021 430 9881.
Whiskers, feed their curiosity.
Well, welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, when it comes to caring for your pets, Whiskers are reinventing the way that you and your kitten can learn through a really cool series of online videos where kittens are the heroes. Kitten College is an institute of feline education where today's kittens learn all they need to know about the kitten care to develop it into, obviously, tomorrow's cats. Today, Whiskers are launching Kitten College in South Africa, and we have already signed this little guy, Baxter, up to the course. It's really cool. The course curriculum covers things like, obviously, kitten care, learning about kittens and kitten information, as well as other topics that tackle some of the most commonly asked questions by kitten owners. Now, to give your kitten the opportunity to graduate from Kitten College, I would sign them up at whiskers.co.za/Kitten College. It's honestly a very quick and easy, and obviously once you've signed up, and that you will be one of the first to know about the upcoming exciting news from our friends at Whiskers as well. So that's once you've sent through that whole application form, all the details will come to you as well. You'll receive lots of advice about being a really good cat owner.
So today we celebrate the life of Mum Winnie Mandela. Mama Winnie completed her degree in 1955 and became the first black professional social worker in South Africa. She turned down a scholarship for further study in the United States in order to take up a challenging career in medical social welfare in Johannesburg. Earlier this year, she was awarded an honorary doctorate from Makerere University in Uganda for her contribution to ending apartheid. We caught up with some famous South African women who have been impacted by her life. And here's what TV producer and businesswoman Carole Bauer had to say.
As a young South African who grew up in the townships, for me, Mama Winnie Mandela represented just the most beautiful, tenacious black woman who was just a towering colossus. If you look at our history, she was a woman who was always ready to stand in the gap for our mothers who were afraid to speak for us, and they were right to be afraid because it was at a time where many bullets were ready to enter their bodies. In fact, those bullets were, at the best of times, targeted at us as children. I loved her dearly. I think back at my first encounter with her, we'd been invited to a dinner, and the host, knowing how much I admired her and how much my husband admired her, seated us next to one another, and Mama was this beauty as she walked in, and she knew that I had a level of discomfort about being next to her because I had married across the color line. I had betrayed the race, and she looked at me and said, in fact she looked at both of us, Edward and I, and said, you can never walk around feeling that way because what you're living, who you are, is precisely the result of that for which we fought. We fought so you could have the right to choose to whom you wish to be associated.
Man, there's some beautiful, beautiful comments over there. So if you'd like to share yours as well, head over to our Facebook page, Afternoon Express, or go on to our Twitter page as well, Afternoon Chat. We'd love to be able to hear from you. The hashtag is Afternoon Express. Now listen, after the break, we look at some messages that international celebrities have shared about Mum Winnie Mandela, and we head to the kitchen for a chai latte with Clover lactose-free no-lac milk.
They're cute, they're cuddly, and they're TV stars. Baxter and Donut, the adorably fluffy four-legged members of the Afternoon Express family, are sharing their daily adventures on social media. To see what Baxter and Donut get up to behind the scenes, follow the adventures of Baxter and the adventures of Donut on Instagram.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. It's a Wednesday afternoon and we are live on SABC3. And we know the online world has been going crazy at the moment, not only because of all the stuff going on in the sports world, but obviously as South Africa is mourning the loss of the mother of our nation, Winnie Mandela. Not only have local celebrities poured their condolences out, international celebrities, including the likes of Jennifer Hudson, who has played Winnie Mandela, sent her own wishes to the ultimately the passing of anti-apartheid activists and to obviously celebrate her life. It was really cool to see her message come through. It was a beautifully read statement.
Yes, all the tributes have been absolutely lovely. And model Naomi Campbell said in a post on Instagram, "Dear Winnie, I cherish the times I spent with you, embracing me in your family and home. You were a woman of strength that endured so much hardship and sacrifice. Without you, we would not know anything about Dada. Hashtag Nelson Mandela and his 27 years will be forever grateful."
Beautiful words there. A local singer, Tandiswa Mazwai, also shared her emotions on Twitter, saying, "This past weekend, over 1,000 women and I celebrated Mama as we left our spirits free and danced the night away while she looked over us. The whole spirit of the day was in honor of all she is. Brave, influencing, fierce. She's an African warrior woman who does as she pleases and loves her people. Rest in peace."
And Jennifer Hudson, who played Winnie in the self-titled film, took to Instagram to post a pic of Winnie in her youth with the caption, "Please be still, peace be still, the fight you fought will never be forgotten."
And indeed won't. How
Beautiful words. Yeah.
Very, very much so. British actor Idris Elba, who played Nelson Mandela in Long Walk to Freedom, said on Twitter, "Rest in peace, Mama Winnie. My heart is heavy right now. You lived a full and important life, contributing to the liberation of a nation by force and actual activism." And he put that in capital letters just to make us realize that it was actual activism, no words. You know, you'll never be forgotten. What a beautiful message.
Yeah, yeah. And many of our viewers also shared their thoughts on the devastating loss of Mama Winnie.
Exactly. Iketeng and Ndlovu said, "Sad news indeed. She really played her part in the country. We love her. She may be gone, but her lovely memories stay on forever."
Baba Lwa also shared a few words and said, "We will never forget Mama Winnie because she was a beautiful, strong, powerful and loving person on earth, and she was our mother, and we will forever be grateful for what she did for us."
Indeed. So thank you so much to all of you for sharing your love and support for Winnie and her family. She is gone, but obviously never forgotten. And if you would like to continue to share some thoughts with us, hashtag Afternoon Express, and you can find us on Twitter at Afternoon Chat and on our Facebook page, Afternoon Express. It's amazing to see how something like that can inspire us, and to think that obviously all of us are human beings and can have that kind of impact in the world. It's encouraging for young South African women to stand up and to make the exact same change that Winnie brought to our country. So perhaps you are one of those young women who want to be like her. We'd love you to share your thoughts on our social media platforms.
Clover No Lac, lactose-free milk that lets you enjoy dairy again. Made with love by Clover.
Now, if you are lactose intolerant or perhaps you suffer from allergies, then this is for you. Clover No Lac is a lactose-free milk that tastes sweeter than regular milk, but without the added sugar. This delicious and creamy milk can be enjoyed on its own or with cereal, but today we're using it to make one of my favorite things ever, a delicious chai latte. And if you'd like to try this recipe for yourself, then SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 at a cost of R1.50. I've only seen chai lattes in stores. I've never bought the powder already. I never know how to make it. So what is a chai latte?
So first things first, let's add our rooibos to the pot so that can start steeping.
Okay.
Chai latte is basically a spiced tea. Okay. There's no set blueprint for what goes in there. You make it your own. But there are a few things that have to be in there. Cinnamon, all right, cool. Can you guess what this one is?
That is a star anise.
Star anise goes in. That adds a nice aniseedy flavor to it. And then cardamom. Okay.
Oh, okay. So typical, like, if you're like, I know, terrible that this links my memory to that, but it's like having glue vine. So when you're making glue vine, you throw cardamom in there, you throw star anise.
If that's how you're going to remember it, then go for it. Then what I do is I add some peppercorns. It's kind of weird. It's like, what is that flavor in the background? You don't know. It's just there. You know what I mean?
What's pepper in the back?
Peppercorns. That's going to go in.
Does Clover No Lac have, like, boil normally like normal milk? It doesn't curdle like normal milk. It's like got all the same ingredients and factors that you have in a normal milk. So you can enjoy it as a lactose-free.
You can. The thing is, people also think that lactose-free means dairy-free. That's not the case. The dairy is in there. They actually add lactase to it, which is an enzyme, to break down the lactose and makes it comfortable for your little belly to digest. Oh, look at that.
So condescending, eh? Love it. Love it.
Okay, but look at that, bubbling up, and it smells rich and creamy. Oh, didn't you like it? I just scratched your tummy.
So good. Yeah, you just rubbed my little belly on the show. I feel like one of the kittens. I'm either, the two kittens, the kitten and the dog on the show. Like you're just rubbing my belly.
You know what? Smells good, right?
Oh, it smells yummy.
Cool. Now you can sweeten it up a little bit. Some honey.
Cool.
We can make it nice and sweet. I like it I actually like the sweetness of like on its own. All right, so I don't like adding too much honey.
But if you, obviously this is just to taste. It's just obviously Clem's trying to show you if you're a particular person that likes a sweet tooth, then this is the perfect way to sweeten it up. But if you want it to be, just the same old natural flavors, you can do so.
Exactly.
It's like those who drink coffee with or without milk.
And it is winter now, right? So you're gonna make this drink. Also, I find tea is an amazing way to resolve any conflict in the office, at home. Someone comes at you. Make a cup of tea, just sip the tea. Think all that thoughts, but just keep on sipping your tea. What do you think? What do you think?
I think it's a clever idea. Whenever the conflict happens, just send them an email. Be like, don't worry, the situation's going to go away. Just sip some tea. It's all going to be good.
Done.
Clever. I'm very glad that we got to make our very own, because I've never managed to make or even see somebody make a chai latte before in person. So this is going to be one of my winter drinks for sure. It's really so simple to make. So if you want to give this a warm, comforting try, then go on. SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 at a cost of R1.50. Remembering those free SMSs don't apply. And in case you missed any of the steps along the way, here's a quick recap on how to make this delicious chai latte for yourself.
Made with love by Clover.
This weekend, the Presenter Search on 3 auditions moved to Cape Town, and this season is brought to you by Mac Cafe and Capitec. And this weekend's auditions will be held at the DHL Newlands Rugby Stadium this Saturday and Sunday, the 7th and the 8th of April. Gates open at 8 a.m., so be sure to get there early. All you have to do is register at the gate and prepare a short link that will show the judges that you are ready to be the new face of SABC3. The Mother City is notorious for producing talent, so make sure you come prepared. For more details and a list of audition venues in a city near you, visit presentersearchon3.com.
Step into the spotlight as South Africa's next TV superstar with Presenter Search on 3, proudly brought to you by Capitec and Mac Cafe.
Own the SABC3 stage as the newest host of top-billing Afternoon Express or the Espresso Morning Show.
Gates open at 8 a.m. for the Cape Town leg of the auditions on the 7th and 8th of April at the DHL Newlands Rugby Stadium.
Visit presentersearchon3.com for more details.
With SABC3,
the stage is yours.
I cannot wait to see one of you join me on Afternoon Express, and we'll see you at the auditions in Cape Town this weekend. Then obviously Durban and Johannesburg, your chances are coming very soon. We are adding obviously your thoughts to our conversation on social media at the moment. On our Facebook page, we're asking you the question, what is your fondest memory of the iconic anti-apartheid activist Mandela? She obviously had an incredible life with lots of different memories through her life, and we'd love to share your thoughts along with us. So Bulelo says, my fondest memories of the iconic Mama Winnie was when we travelled together from Mthatha to Port St. John's in the Eastern Cape prior to the elections. She was so friendly with the people and she believed in the people from the rural areas. She also got married to Madiba in Bizana, which is her birthplace. Thanks for that one. La Chanel says, my fondest memory of Mum Winnie is that of when she was always amongst the people on the ground, leading from the front. She was never a boardroom person. She didn't stay long in Parliament because she loved being among the people. A powerful feminist and an activist as well. Rest in peace and rest in power, it looks like it says, Mama. So thank you so much for that one that came through. Much appreciated. Guys, continue to send through your comments on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. Share your fond memories with us. # Afternoon Express on Twitter, or find us on Facebook. We are Afternoon Express. We'll see you after these short breaks.
Express yourself.
no-lac, lactose-free milk that lets you enjoy dairy again. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to a very special edition of Afternoon Express as we celebrate the life of Mum Winnie Mandela on Afternoon Express today.
Yes, and we managed to catch up with some famous South African women who were personally inspired by her life. Poet, writer and actress Lebo Mashile had this to say.
It is with deep sadness and a very heavy heart that we say farewell to a goddess, a warrior, an astute politician, one of the most extraordinary leaders of our lifetime anywhere in the world, Winnie Mandela. It is impossible for me to define what it means to be an African woman in South Africa. Without you, you held the dignity of your people in the palm of your hand and elevated us wherever you went. When we were not brave, you epitomized courage. When we were afraid to speak, you spoke the truth at the most difficult of times. We did not celebrate you in the way that you deserved to be celebrated in your lifetime. And that is our deep, deep, deep regret. But it is no measure of the immense contribution that you have made to our lives. And history, posterity, will immortalize you as one of the greatest women ever to walk this soil that we call home. Rest in peace, rest in power, rest with the love and the support and the kindness and the care and the affirmation and the celebration that you always deserved in this life. We adore you. We are grateful to you. Thank you.
Man,
Wow.
such beautiful words.
What a beautiful message.
Yeah.
You know, for me, what stands out for me also about Winnie Mandela's life is how she was my first experience of representation. As a little black girl in South Africa, when you're looking around you and everyone in your community is voiceless, and there was this woman and she was just this beam of light, and every time she spoke, I thought, I can, I am. and I will.
Exactly, and there's so many stories that have been like this. I'm so excited to hear what you have to say at home. So let's cross to our phone lines in PE. Basil, welcome to Afternoon Express. How are you this afternoon?
Hi there, good day to you. How are you doing?
Very, very well, thank you. Would you like to share your thoughts with us today?
Yes, I'd really, really love to share a thought. I would love to salute the mother of the nation. She sacrificed her entire life, her career, and everything that she held dear. And whenever she was in pain or confronted with situations, when we were confronted with the police that dragged us down, that insulted us, she used to stand up and like a lioness defend us. And she used to turn her back on us. And that smile, oh my goodness, that smile just melted us.
Indeed, as Bonnie called it, that beaming light.
Everything worth it.
Basil, thank you so much for those words. And I'm glad to hear that her legacy continues to remain in you, because you're going to pass those legacies on to your children, and the impact that she's had is going to ripple through eternity because of the stories and the impact she's had on people like you as well. So thanks for sharing your thoughts on the show today.
Absolutely. Do we have another caller?
Not just yet. I think we want to obviously get people to just settle on these thoughts, because there's so much to be able to engage on this particular topic, so many stories and memories. And I love the fact that we're using this idea of a beacon of hope.
Yes.
And I was surprised to hear some of our celebrities say that, you know, we didn't celebrate her in the time that she was still with us. And because her legacy is beyond the recognition of what we can even know. What she did was so much more than what we saw on television or we're hearing in these concerts or through these words of impact.
Yeah, and you also realize that not many know the story of Winnie Mandela, the woman. And you shared something like that earlier on, of just about how with the passing of your son.
Yes, it's like, for us, it's like South Africans, we are so divided in our icons. And because we're still living, geographically, we're still living in apartheid suburbs. Geographically,
spatially segregated,
we are still so spatial and also knowledge-based, that we want to know just what we want to know. And this is the sadness of this, is that the mourning process of this iconic woman, we can't capture humanity like this in a bottle. It's about sharing, it's about storytelling, but also to capture. We have books, we have documentaries, but it's so important that we share this in our curriculum, that the other side, that what did Winnie Mandela stand? What is resilience? The word resilience, what does it mean? What can we take from that? And for me, what stands out the most, besides we could do a tiny little thing, not everything, a tiny little thing, for her to stand on that stage to say, thank you. It was nothing. But for her to embrace me when my child died, that was for me so much. She was already sick, but she sent a representative. And I will never, ever forget that.
Never forget it.
A grandchildren to come to do vigils with me.
I think
and
that
that's
is
the kind of person, and that's the kind of person that people don't know of, is when the lights are not on you, and when the media is not with you.
Who are you?
The real person comes out.
We have to wrap it up there. You've edited it absolutely beautifully. I wish we had so much time. But thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts.
I must say thank you to you.
Exactly.
That this was a real show of us sharing
Beautiful.
What South Africa is all about.
Keep those thoughts happening. Hashtag Afternoon Express South Africa. On that beautiful note, have a brilliant evening, and we'll see you tomorrow live on SABC 3, 4:30, obviously on Afternoon Express. Good night.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.